Hi, welcome to all of you. In this video, we will understand maxima minima of function of several variable. We will understand what is local maxima, local minima, what is global maxima, global minima of function of several variables. Before getting into it, let us understand what is first derivative of function of several variable. What is second derivative of function of several variables? What I mean by function of several variable is, let's say this is a function of three variable f, x, y and z, which is nothing but x plus y square plus z cube minus xy minus 3z 3z, and the domain here happens to be a set of real number which is nothing but r cube. So for any given tuple x, y and z, you will have a function value f, x, y, z. So let's see example. What is the value of f 1, 1 and 1? So let's put it this: 1 square, 1 cube minus 1 into 1 minus 3 dot 1. So which is 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus 3. So this is cancelled. So 2 minus 3 minus 1. So this is the function value. So perhaps we are working in a 4 dimension now. 3 dimension is x, y, z, which is independent variable, and the fourth dimension is function value, which is nothing but this one. So what is the first derivative of this function? If it is a simple univariate function like this, fx equal to 5x square plus 2x plus 5, and then if you do the first derivative for this function, you will get, this is cube x square and plus 2, which is nothing but a scalar quantity. And if you do double derivative for this one, so you will get 30x. This is again a scalar quantity. So when you do the first derivative for univariate function, univariate means we have a single independent variable, you get a scalar quantity as a result. But if you do the first derivative for multivariate function, which is denoted by, this is gradient of f or f dash x, which is nothing but partial derivative of f with respect to x, partial derivative of f with respect to y, and the partial derivative of f with respect to z, and this is nothing but a vector. So you can clearly see here, in case of univariate function we are getting a scalar quantity, but when we are doing a first derivative for multivariate function we are getting a vector. So what is the double derivative of this particular function? Double derivative of this function is defined as gradient of square f. You can denote like this also. So this is nothing but a matrix. So partial derivative of f with respect to x, then this one. So what is the second derivative of this particular function, which is nothing but a, this one, this is nothing but a matrix. So we have seen that the first derivative of this particular function is nothing but a vector, and the second derivative of this particular function is nothing but a matrix. But in a single variate function we get a scalar value for first derivative and second derivative. So let's suppose if we have a function f, the first derivative is this one, second derivative is this, and all are defined, and this double derivative is continuous, then we can say that this particular matrix is nothing but a symmetric matrix. So I hope you know what is symmetric matrix. So this identity matrix is symmetric matrix. I'm just explaining this one, what is symmetric matrix. So the upper diagonal matrix, diagonal element and the lower diagonal element would be same. So that means this particular element would be same, then this one and then this and this would be same. So now let us see what is first derivative of our function here. So the first derivative of function is nothing but 1 minus y, 2y minus x, 3z square minus 3. So this is nothing but partial derivative of f with respect to x. This is partial derivative of f with respect to y, and this one partial derivative of f with respect to z. So, and this is nothing but a vector, not a scalar quantity. And we have found out the second derivative for this function, which is nothing but, if you calculate it, so the second derivative for this particular function would be 0, minus 1, 0, minus 1, 2, 0, 0, 0, 6 and z. So if you calculate the partial derivative, second derivative for this particular function, you will get this matrix. So I am not calculating all the element of that matrix, you can calculate it, finally you will get this value. So you can see here this is symmetric. So these two elements are same, this one and this one is same, and this one and this one is same. So if you carefully observe, this particular matrix itself is dependent on point. This one you can say it is dependent on one independent variable z, and of course first derivative is very much dependent on independent variable x, y and z. So if anybody asks what is the first derivative at point, say the first derivative at point x equal to 1, y equal to 1, z equal to 2. So just put this value in this vector. So it is nothing but 1 minus 1, 2 into 1 minus 1, and 3 into 1 is x square minus 3, which is nothing but 0, 2 and 0. So for every possible tuple which is there in R cube in a domain, we can find the first derivative of the function like disk. Similarly, for every possible tuple, we can find the second derivative at that point also. Perhaps at the same point we can find out the second derivative of a function at this point. So what is the second derivative of this function at point x equal to 1, y equal to 1 and z equal to 2. So you just put this value in this matrix. So this is the second derivative of this particular function. So what you have to do, it is nothing but 0, minus 1, 0, minus 1, 2, 0, 0, 0, 6 cross 2. So I am just putting this value here in place of z. So now let us see, when do we say a function achieve the local minima and when do we say a function achieve global minima. So let's take this particular function of two variable and the domain happen to be a set of real number r square. That means x and y take any possible real number. So this is the function x square plus xy plus y square minus y, and the domain is nothing but r square. Then we say that function f achieves global minima at point AB if function value of AB less than equal to function value of x and y for all xy belongs to R cross R, and we say f achieve local minima at point AB if we can find a circle around point AB or a small neighborhood around A B with whatever a small radius, with whatever a small radius. So let's try to understand this point. F achieve local minima at point AB if we can find a circle around AB, circle around AB or a small neighborhood around AB with whatever the radius, take any radius here, and if function value of AB, the function value of AB for this particular point is less than equal to function value of any point within this circle. So for all xy belongs to this particular circle. Similar to what happened in the function of single variable, f achieve minima or maxima only when its first derivative happen to be 0. What is the first derivative of our function? So first derivative of our function is nothing but the partial derivative of f with respect to x, partial derivative of f with respect to y, which is nothing but, if you do the partial derivative this one and this one, so you will get it 2x plus y and x plus 2y minus 1. So it achieves global or local minima or global or local maxima only for the point for which its first derivative is 0. That means it achieves local minima when this first derivative, or you can say this one, is equal to 0, which implies nothing but 2x plus y, x plus 2y minus 1 equal to 0, 0. So when you solve this equation, so what is, you will get two equations, 2x plus y equal to 0, this is one equation, and then x plus 2y minus 1 equal to 0, this is second equation. So from this first equation, y equal to minus 2x, and if you put this one here, so x plus 2 minus 2x minus 1 equal to 0. So x minus 4x minus 1 equal to 0. So if you subtract it, this is minus 3x, and if you take this side, this one, this is 1. So x equal to minus 1 by 3, and if you put the x value here, y equal to minus 2x, so y equal to minus 2 cross minus 1 by 3. So this is cancel, which is nothing but 2 by 3. So what we got it? X and y value is nothing but minus 1 by 3 and 2 by 3, and this is nothing but a critical point. This is the point where we will be getting either local maxima, local minima, global maxima, global minima, or saddle point, which I have already explained in my previous video. If you have not seen that, please go and watch that video to understand it, or you can get some information from anywhere. So now we got the critical point, which is nothing but minus 1 by 3 and 2 by 3. This is x and this is y, and this is the candidate for local maxima, local minima, global minima or saddle point. So to test that, we have to go for another test, and which is nothing but a double derivative. So the double derivative happen to be, if the double derivative happens to be a positive definite matrix, we can say that at this point it achieves local minima. I hope you know what is positive definite matrix. I have already explained in my video this concept also. You can go and watch this one. And if the double derivative happens to be a negative definite matrix, then we can say that it achieves local maxima. So let's see that what is the double derivative of the function at point x equal to minus 1 by 3 and y equal to 2 by 3 to check this one local minima and maxima. So the double derivative would be 2, 1, 1, 2. If you do partial derivative in to find out the double derivative, then you will get this matrix. And to find out the positive definite or negative definite, we have to find out the leading principal minor. So first of all, we have to identify what is the leading principal component. So this is one leading principal component, another one this complete matrix. So let's find out the minor. Minor is nothing but the D1, determinant of first principal component is nothing but 2 itself, and determinant of second principal component, which is matrix itself, is nothing but 4 minus 1 equal to 3. So if you see that this is also greater than 0 and this is also greater than 0. So that means this matrix is a positive definite matrix. And when we have a positive definite matrix, we achieve local minima on the critical point, which is nothing but this. Similarly, we can also say that if the eigenvalue of this particular matrix, which is nothing but a partial derivative at this point minus 1 by 3 and 2 by 3, if it has got all positive eigenvalues, then we say that it achieves local minima. And if all eigenvalue are negative, then we say that at this point function achieves local maxima. At this point means this is the point, this is the critical point we have already found out. And the third point is, if one eigenvalue is negative, if one eigenvalue is positive and another eigenvalue is negative, then we say it achieves neither local maxima nor local minima, though its first derivative is 0. And the fourth point is that if determinant of this second derivative of this particular matrix is 0, then we say that we may not be able to conclude anything. We may not be able to conclude anything about maxima or minima at this point. We need more information. So I hope you would have understood this eigenvalue test also. However, if a function happens to be a convex function, what I mean is, imagine a function of two variables where x, y and z is a function value and the function take ball shape. So ball shape means what? This is ball shape. When we have such function, then it achieves global minima at a stationary point. So at this stationary point, or you can say critical point, it will achieve global minima. So we have a very nice theorem to prove this one. So f is a function of several variable, and function f, first derivative of function f and the second derivative of function f exist for all possible value of x in their domain, and second derivative is continuous, then these four conditions are there to identify the local global maxima and global minima. So the first condition is that f is convex. If convex means this is convex and this is concave. So this is opening at upward direction, this is opening at downward direction. I will explain you what is strictly convex and what is simple just convex. So the first condition is f is convex if and only if the second derivative of x for all x belongs to domain is a positive semi definite, and we know how to find out the positive semi definite. So the second derivative, we have to find out second derivative for all possible point in their domain, and then we have to calculate the positive semi definite. If that matrix, all matrix are positive semi definite, then we clearly say that that function is a convex function, and then at a stationary point that will achieve a local minima. If f is strictly convex, if and only if the double derivative of f x belonging to their domain is a positive definite. Here I was talking positive semi definite, and here I am talking positive definite, so just differentiate these two terms. So then we can say that the function is achieving, if it is strictly convex, then here also it will achieve global minima. If f is a concave, f is concave if and only if the double derivative of x belongs to their domain is a negative semi-definite, and f is strictly concave if and only if double derivative of the function x belonging to their domain is a negative definite. So by these four conditions we can identify whether f is a convex function or strictly convex or concave or strictly concave. So by identifying the convex and concave function, we can conclude that the function at a stationary point will achieve either maxima or global maxima or global minima. In case of convex, strictly convex, it will achieve global minima. In case of strictly concave, it will achieve global maxima. So let's take one example for this. So we have a function which is nothing but f(x)(y) equal to 2x square plus xy plus 3y square, and then do the first derivative for this particular function. So what is the first derivative? Differentiate, differentiate f with respect to x, and then the partial differentiate with respect to y. So if you differentiate it, this one with respect to x, then we have to consider y as a constant. So this is nothing but 4x plus y, and then another one is x plus 6y. So this one represent this and this one represent this. And as we know that to find out the critical point, the first derivative should be 0. That means the slope would be 0. So let's equate this one to 0, which is nothing but 4x plus y, x plus 6y equal to 0 and 0. So we will get two equation here, 4x plus y equal to 0 and x plus 6y equal to 0. And if you solve this one, we will get x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. Now find out the second derivative of this function. So which is nothing but 4116. So if you find out the second derivative, this one for this one against, so we will have a 4 element in this matrix. So if you solve this one for this point x and y equal to 0 and 0. So the matrix is 4 1 1 6, and inside that we do not have any variable, so no need to put this value inside that. And now let's find out the first leading principal. So this is one principal leading component, another one is this matrix. So if you find out first principal leading minor, so which is nothing but determinant of this itself, and the D2 is nothing but determinant of matrix itself, so which is 41 minus 24 minus 1 equal to 23, so which is greater than 0. This is also greater than 0. So if this scenario happens, so this is positive definite matrix, and then we can conclude that this particular function is a strictly convex function. So this is a strictly convex function. It will take shape like ball shape here, and here at this stationary point, which is nothing but 0 0, it will achieve global minima. Similarly, by using this method, you can identify local minima, local maxima, anything. Just you have to prove that whether that function is convex or strictly convex, or concave or strictly concave. Now let's understand the difference between the strictly concave and strictly convex. So convex, strictly convex. So the convex function is like that. So if you take this one, this is going like that, and then this. And the strictly convex function is f equal to x square, which is nothing but this one. So if you take any point on this one, on this graph, it will be above this minimum point. And if you take any point here, there will be a chance it will be a parallel to, or it will be over this particular region or domain. So it will overlap this particular region. But here if you take any point, it will be always above the graph. So you take this point, this point, this point, this point, and if you draw a line, so it will be above graph. Here also it will be above graph, but there will be a one scenario where it will overlap with the graph, and the scenario is nothing but this one. If you see this one, so I hope you would have understood what is the convex and strictly convex function, and how to establish a function is convex or concave, or strictly convex or strictly concave. So if you have any question, please put in comment box. I will try to answer as much as possible. So thank you for now.